Hey folks, welcome back to your Week 9 NFL picks. Last week we went 11-5. Definitely a much better week than the prior week. That has taken us to a total of 71-51 over the season so far. So definitely over the 500 mark, but about 58%. We'd like to try and get it a little bit higher than that, certainly above 60%. We're going to jump right in. Tonight we have the Titans of Tennessee at the Steelers of Pittsburgh. This one, the Steelers are favored by 3. They've got Levis or Levis, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, the new quarterback for the Titans since Tannehill is out, they're saying. So he's going to start. He had a great game last week. But Steelers are favored by 3 here, and they're at home. Total over-under on this one is only 37.5, so they're not expecting a whole lot of scoring. I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. I think the Steelers will be strong at home, and especially with a rookie quarterback up against that defense, that's not going to be an easy task, certainly, for anyone. So I'm going to go with the Steelers in that one. And then we go to the Sunday games in Frankfurt, Germany. My Dolphins of Miami are playing the Chiefs of Kansas City in Frankfurt. And the Chiefs are actually favored by 1.5 in this one. It's just surprising, really. I would have thought the Chiefs would have been favored by maybe even a full touchdown. But given the fact that it's a neutral site, that probably plays a huge role. This is also the largest over-under of the week between these two teams. It's predicted to be 50.5 total points scored. So they're expecting some fireworks over there in Germany. I'm gonna go with my hunch again. Maybe I'm biased because of the Dolphins, but I'm gonna go with the Dolphins because they're on a neutral site, and Patrick Mahomes, he can't rely on that KC crowd to help get him through the tough times like he had last week there in Denver. My goodness, that did not look like him at all. So I'm gonna go with Miami on this one, and for the upset. And then the early games here in the U.S. We've got Minnesota at Atlanta. The Vikings of Minnesota at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are favored by 4 in this one. Vikings, their total over-under is supposed to be 37.5. Another very low-scoring predicted game here. I'm going to go with Atlanta at home. I think that Atlanta will prevail. Of course, Minnesota just lost their quarterback. They got Josh Dobbs, and he's got a learning curve he's got to be brought up to speed on. And so I think that's going to play a huge role in this first game for him in a Vikings uniform. I'm going to go with Atlanta. Younghoe Koo and the 3-point field goals there at the end of the games, that tends to be a very common thing for them when they do win. So I think 4 points might be a little too much. I'm thinking they might prevail by 2 or maybe 3 points. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. And then we have the Cardinals of Arizona flying into Ohio to take on the Brownies of Cleveland. Cleveland is favored by 8 in this one. I'm definitely going to go with Cleveland. I think that I'll even take them with the points. Total over under in this one is also 37.5. Arizona is just not a good team. They only have 1 win on the season. It's not going to go well for them. It's not going to be a good afternoon for them in upper northern Ohio there. So let's go with Cleveland. And then we've got the Rams of LA at the GBs of Green Bay, the Packers. Packers favored by 3 in this one. Rams, let's see, 38.5 is the over/under. Another low-scoring game. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the home team here. I think that Green Bay will prevail over the Rams. Neither team is very good right now, so I think the Packers will prevail at home. I'm gonna go with the home team. And then you have the Washingtons at the New England Patriots. This one is the Patriots are favored by 3, and the over/under is 40.5. Initially, if the Washingtons had been able to knock off Philly last week at home, I think that I probably would have gone with Washington in this one. But I'm gonna go with New England in this one. Usually, I don't like to, go for New England because being in the AFC East against the Dolphins, you don't root for teams in your same division. So. I think that they will prevail though over the Washingtons there. And then you've got the Bears of New Orleans. I'm sorry, the Bears of Chicago at the Saints of New Orleans. I believe the Saints will go marching in on this one. They're favored by 8.5. Over under 41.5. Definitely, the Bears are a wreck. Their offense is just a disaster. I'm surprised they're still going with Eberflus, or I think that's his name, the coach there in Chicago. Not sure what they're expecting to see out of him at this point. I think it's obvious it's all a failure. But definitely going to take New Orleans, and I'll take New Orleans with the points too. And again, this is totally for entertainment purposes only. No betting involved whatsoever. This is just for fun. But yeah, I think New Orleans will prevail and take care of Chicago handily there at home. And then you have the Battle of the Birds, the West Coast Bird versus the East Coast Bird, the Seahawks of Seattle at the Ravens of Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by 6 in this one, over under 44.5. I will take Baltimore. I think Baltimore will prevail at home. Had this been in Seattle, it might have gone a different way, but I think certainly Baltimore will prevail at home. Lamar Jackson's going to have, Lamar Miller. Lamar Jackson. I'm getting my names all mixed up. Lamar's going to have a great afternoon. So I think that they're going to prevail just nicely. And then you've got the Buccaneers of Tampa Bay traveling across the other end of the Gulf of Mexico over to the Texans of Houston. Houston is favored by 3 in this one, over under of 39.5. I'm going to go with Houston on this one too. I don't think the Bucs are all that good, and I think that Houston will prevail at home in front of their crowd, despite last week's disappointments. Then we go into the late games. We have the Colts of Indianapolis at the Carolina Panthers, who shocked the world last week, and everyone saw them win. So Colts favored by 2.5 in this one, and the over/under is 43.5. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Colts will prevail in this one. I think the Colts will be able to dismantle the Panthers defense there in Charlotte. And then you have the Biggies of New York, the Giants, coming into Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Both teams are a wreck. Both teams are a mess. Of course, the Raiders, they just went through a whole new coaching regime after Mark Davis went crazy there on Tuesday night and said, okay, I'm going to fire everybody and start all over. And he etch-a-sketched the whole thing. So now they're benching Garoppolo, and they're going to start the young rookie, Aiden something. I forget his last name. But anyway, Vegas is favored by 2 here. Over under 37.5. I'm going to go with Vegas on this one. Even though they're starting over, I think that they'll feel a spark. I like the pick of Antonio Jackson right now I think that's his last name, for the coach right now, at least the interim coach. He looks to be an energetic kind of guy. Let's see if he can fire up that team to right the ship here before they go completely out of playoff possibilities. And then we've got the Cowboys of Dallas at Philadelphia. I'm going to go with Philly at this one. I think this is going to be another disaster for Dallas, in my humble opinion. And again, all just for entertainment purposes only. Philly is favored by 3, over under 46.5. I don't think that Dallas will. I think this could be another disaster for Dallas in that it was like that for them in San Francisco. So I think that Philly will prevail just fine. Sunday night's game is a huge one. It's the one that was discontinued last year. Buffalo at Cincinnati. Cincy is favored by 2. The home team is favored by 2 here. And you've got an over-under of 49.5. They're expecting some scoring here, but this one's tough. I think I'm going to go with the home crowd here. I'm going to go with Cincy, and I do think they'll cover by 2 points. And it's purely a venue pick at this point. I think that they will cover. And then Monday night brings you the Chargers electrifying the Big Apple of New York. Chargers of LA going into New York to face off against the fast airplanes, the New York Jets. We've got Chargers favored by 3.5 in this one, and the Jets, let's see, the over-under is 40.5. This is tough. New York, the Jets, I'm not sure why they're even on Monday night. I'm going to go with the upset call and call the Jets on this one. I think the Jets will prevail at home on a Monday night in front of their crowd. And really shock the world. And so there's my upset pick for Monday night. We will see you again next week. And again, totally for entertainment purposes. We have 4 teams on the bye this week, so not as many games on the slate as there were last week. We'll see you next week, everyone. Have a great weekend.